What's this? Is Nothing Tulip doing spooky haunted episodes? No, wait. Let's see what's going on here. Nope. It's just our next episode on how to fix a squeaky door hinge. Nothing Tulip. Welcome back. I'm your host, the Tulip Guy, and we're going to fix that squeak in your door. A couple things we're going to need for today's episode is a sledgehammer or hammer, a nail, possibly a chisel, some 3-in-1 oil or grease if you have it, and painter's tape. I'm going to show you what you need to use these for in just a moment. Alright, so the first thing we're going to want to do is take this painter's tape and put it behind our hinge on the casing here. The reason we do this is to protect our white baseboard trim and casings from any oil that might come off of this door hinge when we tap that peg out. The problem is, if you do this without painter's tape or some sort of protection, and you do get grease from this hinge onto your baseboard, it's really hard to clean it off the white baseboard trim. So what I like to do is just make sure I don't have to do any cleaning if necessary. Once you have your tape in place, you're going to want to take either your nail or center punch and either a mallet or a hammer, whatever you can get that fits under here that allows you to tap upwards on this peg. You can see that I already have this peg up a little bit. This is just the way it was when I got to the door. But if your peg isn't quite up enough yet, you're going to want to tap that out from the bottom up. Whether a nail or a center punch. When you need to, come up to the top part. Rest your edge of your nail or your center punch under the top part of the peg as well to tap it the rest of the way out. Once you get it out, you can actually take your 3-in-1 oil, grease up the peg a little bit, put a little drop inside the hole of the hinge. You're going to have to line this back up a little bit, placing your peg back in, and if necessary, tap it back in gently. In my case, I'm not sure whether my squeak is in the top hinge or the bottom hinge here, so I'm going to do the same thing to the top hinge. A little precautionary measure to take when dealing with the top hinge. Again, protect your baseboard trim. When you're removing the peg, sometimes I like to just stop, knowing that the peg is still intact with this second hinge piece. If it gets up past that notch, this could possibly allow the door to fall away from the frame. In order to prevent from that, either have somebody holding the door or have it closed like I do, thus allowing you to safely remove and grease your peg and put it back in so that it doesn't fall on you. Once everything is set back in place, you can then remove all your tape. Now that the tape is removed, you can see from a previous time that they've either removed or put the peg in. The pressure of pushing it in or out sometimes splatters grease out of these little hinge gaps. This is what we're trying to avoid by putting on the tape. Now the fun part, we get to work that grease into the hinges. What you're going to do is just simply open your door and just move it back and forth a bunch of times, working that grease in through the hinge. As you can see already, just by adding a little bit of grease to your hinges, it eliminates that squeak. That concludes today's episode, and I hope you enjoyed watching. On to the next project, and remember, there's nothing to it.